Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, well, we've got the new Sunday preview come out that shows us what all the new releases are going to be in the coming weekend, and it's very Age of Sigmar focused this week. So I thought we'd take a look and let's have a little bit of discussion before we probably start seeing a lot more information come out about all these different units over the next coming weeks. So, the big thing of this is Sunday Preview, the Call of the Wind. Lumineth Realm Lords are coming out. The second wave of these elves from Haiish are coming to tabletops near you. So we'll start off by looking. We're obviously going to be getting the Broken Realms Techless book come out first, which features both Techless and Nagash sort of going head to head. The whole story arc here that we're being told is happening is that Techless really doesn't think that Nagash has been too good a boy, and he's decided, well, I need to go teach you a lesson. Effectively, Techless wants to go try and undo some of the work that Nagash has done and made happen since the Necroquake, and it's really poised to be quite a great showdown. We don't really know how this ends up going, who is the victor, or what happens to either participant. We've had a little bit of story come from the White Dwarfs, which I won't say here just to avoid any spoilers for anyone who doesn't want that sort of thing. But for me, it's really cool. So we've got these two big showdown and these two major characters. So it's going to be Death and Lumineth Realm Lords focused. But what's cool about this is not only is it, I guess, about these two particular forces, we've got a bunch of other armies that are also included within this book. Most of the death factions outside of Soulblight Gravelords are involved in this book, along with Nurgle and Cities of Sigmar once again. Pretty good time to be a Cities of Sigmar player, I would say. You're getting a ton of stuff. And we'll get into all those factions in a sec. But it's also just going to go through the story, tell you all about that. And of course, we've got this Broken Realm checklist book here. What's really cool is I think the artwork on this one is amazing. Really love the Marathi cover, but the Broken Realms checklist, the limited edition one, is really, really nice. I'm not personally going to get it. I don't get limited edition books, but it's a really nice looking cover. Then we've got the Broken Realm army sets, and I'd like to take a little bit of a chance to chat about all of these. So we've got these four shown off, and this is something really cool. I really liked the ones they brought out for Broken Realms Marathi, how we got, the Cities of Sigmar one, the Stormcast Eternals, the Chaos Chariot box set, and what was the other one? It completely skipped my mind now. Anyway, all those box sets came out and they are amazing. Now, let's talk a little bit about this, because this is clearly going to be some of the narrative, and they've said that these box sets here focus around battalions in the Broken Realms Techless book. So, we've not been told we're getting allegiance abilities for any of these factions, but we have told we're getting a bunch of new battalions. So, the Nurgle one seems to be very Plaguebearer focused. It's got, one of my favourite models ever. It's got the Sloppity Bile Piper, the Scrylepox Scrivener, and a Herald of Nurgle as well, which is all really cool. So, just a really, really nice box set here. It'd be interesting to see what this sort of does. Giving Plague Bearers a bit more oomph on the table is always welcome. I do feel they're maybe one of the bit of unloved bits of Nurgle. At the moment, Blight Kings seem to be dominating Nurgle as an army, so this would be really cool to see and hopefully give Plague Bearers something nice. The one that really interests me, though, is this one here for Cities of Sigmar. So, if you're looking at the models here, we've got the two different wizard battle wagons, the Celestial Huracanum and the Lumineth of Haiish. And we've also got a wizard on foot as well here, which comes along with the kits. He, I believe, is the one that comes with the Lumineth of Haiish. So what this suggests to me is maybe we've got one character variation with a bunch of the others that are non-character variations. Or maybe they're both characters and add Battle Mage. Maybe this is a Battle Mage battalion, very reminiscent of the old battalion for the Battle Mages maybe that we used to have in the Grand Alliance Order book, which is where you could have a bunch of Battle Mages, and while they all are near each other, they can sort of channel their power together. It'd be really interesting to see what this battalion does for Cities of Sigmar. Is it going to be, I guess, set to a specific city, or is it going to be able to be taken by all of them? If it's a all Cities of Sigmar battalion, maybe this might be something to look into for Hallowheart if it's got a bunch of wizard buffs. So that might be interesting there. We then got the Flesh Eater Courts one, where we get the Abhorrent Arch Regent. We got 3 of the Crypt Horrors and a bunch of Ghouls. Pretty decent battalion. Like this, if this is a battalion box, it's a nice battalion. It's got some heavy infantry, a character, and a bunch of troops. For me, that's what you want in a battalion. It's got everything you need in there. And a great little place to start for Flesh Eater Courts if you're not wanting to go into the monster sort of area. So this is a great alternative to the Start Collecting box. Lastly, we've got the Ossiarch Bone Ripper one, which I love. If I'm going to pick up any, it might be this Ossiarch Bone Ripper one, because I do not have any of the murder ponies for my army yet. I don't even have a Liege Cavalos either. But a cool another battalion, one that really focused. Maybe this will give a bit more oomph to Staliarch Lord lists, which focus around the murder ponies. They are painted in a particular scheme, and I'm pretty sure they are painted up as Staliarch Lords. I may be wrong, but that seems to be what I remember the scheme being. If I'm wrong, let me know. I won't say that I'm particularly great at Ossiarch Bone Ripper colour schemes at this point in time, but it'd be really cool to see what they do. All of these, as mentioned, hopefully are all focusing around battalions. At least that's what the article is leading us to believe here. So could be some really interesting stuff to see here for all of these armies. And then, of course, we're getting the Battle Tome Lumineth Realm Lords. Now, here's the interesting thing. They do mention, and they finally properly confirm it, that the new Lumineth Realm Lords Battle Tome is replacing the old one. It doesn't have anything new from the stuff that was previously in there. It's only got the additions added to it. So Broken Realms Techless, on the other hand, gives us the ability to grab all the new stuff without having to grab the new Battle Tome. So if you already have the current Lumineth Realm Lords Battle Tome, you can grab just Broken Realms Techless. Personally, I'm going to grab both because I think this would just be easier to carry around one book than Broken Realms book, because they are quite a bit bigger than Battle Tomes. But there is that option if you're a little bit more tight on cash and don't want to be spending as much, you can not pick up this Battle Tome and just go grab Broken Realms Techless, and that'll give you all the rules. It does say it contains everything you need, so one would assume it contains everything from all new artifacts and such for all the parts there. And now we're getting into the Lumineth Realm Lords. So first of all, we've got Lyrial Ulthrae, Warden of Eumetrika, and then we've also got his, I guess, normal Lord Regent kit variation. They keep telling you that Lord Regents are, I guess, the greatest leaders, and so we've got like a martial sort of leader for our Lumineth Realm Lords. They don't really go into any rule specifics here or anything like that, but the way they start talking about him, hopefully he's going to have like a lot of abilities that really benefit our Venari troops that are holding our line. We've then got the Huracan Win Charges, which are very fast cavalry, as they keep telling us, and we once again get told that these creatures here, the Kangaroo Gallimimus hybrids, are called Tree Runners. They sweep into the fray, delivering arrows with an unerring accuracy. There are no fine mounted archers to be found anywhere in the mortal realms. So cool, like some archer cavalry. Really happy with archer cavalry. I'm not, maybe a little bit disappointed that maybe it's not a combat variation of them, but you know, we do have Dawn Riders already, so maybe we don't need a combat cavalry. So archer cavalry, definitely, and a box of 5. I know that was a little bit disputed whether they were 3 or 5. And they've got the Venari Bannerblade. Now this, to me, is one of the coolest things I think about Lumineth Realm Lords, this release anyway. For me, this signals back the coming back of Battle Standard Bearers. For those who played Warhammer Fantasy Battles, Battle Standard Bearers were these unique Standard Bearers in your army that gave you a ton of extra benefits. And they just looked cool on the tabletop. I used to love looking at everyone's Battle Standard Bearers in their army. You'd always have like this really fancy looking bearer. And some armies, I've got a couple of the old Wood Elf ones that were actual sculpts that looked amazing. But you also had people like convert up their own Battle Standard Bearers out of various different bits and pieces from their kits in Warhammer Fantasy. And they really did look amazing on the tabletop. So I'm really happy to see that we've got something similar coming back for Lumineth Realm Lords. Now, he is a Venari, so this would suggest that he is a wizard as well. He's tasked with holding aloft and defending enchanted Hessian world banners. Their power so radiant that they can blind the unworthy should they dare to look upon them. So maybe he puts out Shining Company buffs by himself. That would be cool. That might be something he might do. And so we then go down to a Cenari, and I guess we start learning a little bit more about Cenari and how they're actually like the wizard sort of aspect of the Lumineth, where they're dedicated wizards, not the warriors like the others. So we've got the Caligrave, which I think is probably my favourite model from this upcoming release. The Arcane Specialists serve as excellent support heroes, using their magic and enchantments from behind the front lines to help dictate the ebb and flow of battle. Not that they're any slouch with a blade either, though, should they get involved in the fighting. And so it talks about a Caligrave blesses the ground to aid their allies and thwart their foes with rippling waves of magic that emanate from the glowing calligraphy they write. Cool. So a support hero, which is always welcome. Wizard that sort of stands behind your line, and I like the idea. Maybe he's got like a movement affecting spell or something like that, if that's what he's doing. Seeing as he is Scenario, I'm going to assume that he has access to the current lore that the Scenario Kaflar does. But yeah, really cool. And then we've got Severeth, the Lord of the Seventh Wind, and the generic Huracan Spirit of the Wind, which are these cool new fairy fox Kitsune warriors. Kitsune is definitely what I thought of when I first saw them. That was my introduction to Magic the Gathering. If you don't know what Kitsune are, pretty much they're these fox people from Magic. Anyway, the kit can alternately be assembled as either one. I like this angle and I like this paint job of the wind here a lot more than I do the one on Severeth that they've done. I think they've done the paint job better on this with all the blues and stuff. But maybe that's just the angle. Maybe there is blues on that one as well. But really cool model. I'm really excited. He's got a big bow and apparently he's super fast. Be cool to see how they work on the tabletop. We then got the Huracan Win Mage, which is Goku, or for me it's Goku. I know people have a little bit of maybe an older generation than me, Monkey, but for me it's Goku. And so it talks about being a kindred spirit to the wind certainly has its perks, with the Wind Mage can effortlessly relocate to wherever they needed. So maybe he has the teleport ability, maybe he can fly high like Caradron Overlords or something like that, which would be cool. Being able to get a wizard that can go to where he's needed on the table is really awesome. And we got the Star Shard Ballista, awesome. Like Bolt Thrower, this is classic High Elves coming back here. I mean, we all know that it's actually like a blowpipe, and this guy at the back here is actually blowing the bolts through it. And from the reveal show, we got told these little things on the ground here are actually like warding beacons for it, which is cool. So I have some sort of defense as well. And then we've got the Venari Blade Lords, Swordmasters coming back. They were one of the models that, like, when we were first starting AOS and you started to see like all the really cool dynamic poses that were coming out of kits at the start of the game, they were like, I used to have an old army of Eldritch Council with a ton of the old plastic Swordmasters. You know, they're very mono-posed look. But what was cool about them is I always imagined like how they would look with like more open poses, the ability to be just posed better by how Age of Sigmar works. And I'm really happy to see how these models look. I'll be really interested to see how these perform on the tabletop. They have a ton of cool sort of bits and pieces. I'm expecting, 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, and Rend 1, and maybe, I guess, Mortal Wounds on them. Very similar, I guess, to Executioners or Greatswords, perhaps. But maybe also, they might have like fighting stances and stuff like that, which would be cool. And so, because that to me is what it says here: Blade Lords adapt their fighting style to deliver flawless executing blows or a whirlwind of rapid strikes in the blink of an eye. So this to me says we're going to have like a multitude of different fighting styles for them. Maybe 1 or 2, maybe more. It does sound like 2 here, so maybe they've got mortal wounds or more attacks. So cool. We then got the Scenario Lore Seeker, which for me is like, this is the Lore Master of Hoeth reimagined. Once again, like a lot of those old High Elf things coming back here. He's a really, really nice model and probably second to the Caligrave, I think, for this release for me. And so he's a battle mage, effectively. He's as skilled a fighter as he is a mage. Awesome. Be interested to see how he can work on the tabletop, because 5-wound heroes that are fighters aren't the greatest, but if still he has all the bonuses of a wizard with some extra armor protection and the ability to actually do something in combat, maybe that is a little bit of a decent thing there for him. But then we've got Alania and Althor Eclipsian War Sages, sorry. And so there's probably the most interesting thing is the twins have devastating presence on the battlefield, and they can join any army from the Forces of Order and make a great addition to a number of factions. So cool. There are a bunch of different factions that can make use of these. They're very much like, I guess, Gotrek in how you can join all the different Order armies. What's really cool to me is this model down the bottom left here is very reminiscent of the old Eltharian model. I really, really like it. But these two characters here are effectively Teclis and Tyrion's prized pupils, and so be interesting to see on like the lore and like why they're fighting for other things. Is it like Tyrion and Teclis trying to like send them out to do all these different tasks or something? Interesting to know. And then we got the Shrine Luminor, the coolest piece of Age of Sigmar faction terrain in the game. Like, this is awesome. And so you, with this terrain piece, you effectively put a hero on it and then garrison, and it can provide several augmentative abilities to those around them. And they look pretty awesome. Like, I can just imagine sticking a character on here, having one of your characters here, they would look amazing. This is just pretty darn cool. One of the best terrain pieces they've done for Age of Sigmar in general. Really, really excited to see how this looks on the tabletop. And then you've got your War Scroll cards, and I guess the only one you've got here is you've got this little contemplating little token here, so I wonder what that's for. But that's it for the Lumineth Realm Lords. In addition, though, to all of this, we have got the Vampire Genevieve, a Kim Newman novel that's being brought back. This is a fantastic story if you like a little bit of horror and suspense. We then got Luther, really cool. And we've got the End of Enlightenment as well, another Lumineth Realm Lords novel. This one by Richard Strachan. I've got a review up of his last book, the Warcry Catacombs, Blood of the Everchosen, which was absolutely fantastic. This is going to be his second book out. Really recommend going and giving his first one a read. I thought it was one of the best things that Black Library has done in a while, and so I'm really excited to see where this book goes. And then we've got the Marnius Calgar, issue 2, the next one, and Forge World. We've got the Legion Praetors and the Terminator Praetor coming out for the Word Bearers. And then we've got a White Scars Primaris Intercessor action figure. So pretty cool week of releases here. Let us know in the comments below, though, what do you think? What do you think all these Lumineth stuff are going to get? Make some bold predictions down there, and we'll see how we go over the coming weeks. Well, thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Cinderfall Gaming, you can do so by coming and joining our Discord server, which you'll find a link to in the description of the video. While you're on YouTube as well, go check out my featured channel section, which contains a bunch of other fantastic Age of Sigmar content creators doing everything from battle reports, tactical videos, lore videos, painting tutorials, and more besides that. Lastly, though, we'd like to give a shout out to everyone who helps support the channel via Patreon and YouTube members. Thank you to James, AJC, JC, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Chaos Spawn, James Crowder, and Andrew Bowen. Thank you all so much for your support. And if you'd like to help support the channel like these fine people do, you can do so by clicking once again on the links down in the description of the video to either YouTube members or Patreon. Thank you all for supporting the channel, though, watching the content. Have a nice day, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.